Rich businessman Roland Voigt appears to most people to be an ordinary middle-aged man, but he actually has a sinister secret. One day, he sends his aide Serena to a remote location to pick up a puzzle box. The innocent woman holds the object throughout the day without realizing how hazardous it is. That night she meets Joey, a prostitute, at Voigt's house party. After a short conversation, Serena asks him to go to the area of the house with the double doors. Her employer has ordered her, but she does not know the reason why. Joey makes his way through the mansion's dark corners until he comes to the room with the double doors and a high ceiling. There he saw a platform that houses the puzzle in its center. Voigt emerges out of nowhere and requests Joey to finish the puzzle and he will be rewarded for it. At this moment, the man wants to go since he finds the situation odd, but he is scared into staying. He is surprised by how easily the puzzle can be solved. When he completes the puzzle, a blade pops and stabs his palm. Unaware of what is about to happen, an alarmed Joey screams in pain. A portal appears a little while later, as chains shoot out and latch onto Joey's body. He screams one last time before he is ripped apart. Voigt does nothing except observe the situation because he is aware of the puzzle's potential. While looking at the portal, he addresses Leviathan, the ruler of hell. The scene is cut to 6 years later. Riley, a recovering addict, is living with her brother Matt, his boyfriend Colin, and their roommate, Nora. One day, she and her boyfriend Trevor are having fun in her room. Things are getting awkward because the other people in the house can hear them in the kitchen. Trevor immediately leaves, giving Matt the impression that he is not good for Riley. He speaks to his sister, and they argue over how controlling he is. Riley goes to Trevor's house after the fight and begins smoking. We discover that she has been lying to her brother about her soberness. Trevor invites Riley to accompany him to an abandoned house. He recently brought a box to the residence and is aware that it contains important items. Riley agrees, and within an hour, the two break into the residence. When they finally manage to get the package and open it, they discover a cube puzzle within. Riley takes the puzzle home without realizing the risks it may bring. She later fights with her brother after he discovers that she had lied about being sober. Furious with her irresponsibility, Matt asks her to leave his house. Riley storms off in a fit of rage, taking the puzzle with her. To escape reality, she walks to a playground and consumes edibles. She then begins fiddling with the puzzle, unintentionally completing it. A blade suddenly emerges but misses her hand. Riley quickly experiences a creepy feeling. As if on cue, a shape in the shadows appears as she senses someone observing her. The monster is called Pinhead, and he is lower demon of hell whose task it is to rip the souls from those who have figured out the puzzle. He can't seize Riley, though, because the puzzle blade missed her hand. Instead, he makes her chest bleed while requesting 2 more souls in her place. Somewhere else, Matt awakens from a nightmare and regrets yelling at Riley. He quickly runs outside to look for her and finds her passed out on the playground. Trying to help her up, he holds the box and accidentally cuts himself. Not realizing that he is now on Pinhead's hit list, he takes Riley to a nearby bathroom. Suddenly, blood starts flowing from the sink, hinting at Pinhead's arrival. A loud scream wakes Riley up, but when she enters the bathroom, her brother is already gone. She panics and immediately calls 911, but since Matt disappeared entirely, they do not have much to work with. They simply bring a frantic Riley back home and ask her to issue a missing report. The next morning, Colin asks Riley where Matt is, but she cannot give him an answer with the fear of sounding insane. They get into an argument because Colin thinks Riley isn't trying to help the police because of the fight she had with Matt. When the conversation starts getting overwhelming, she storms out and goes to Trevor for comfort. They spend some time together, which makes Riley forget about her problems momentarily. However, she is soon haunted by the visions of Cenobites, the creatures from hell who are slaves to Pinhead. The next morning, she asks Trevor to help her figure out the secret of the puzzle. She is sure that her brother's disappearance has something to do with it because Pinhead was holding the puzzle while torturing her last night. Trevor helps her find the owner of the abandoned house, and it turns out to be none other than Serena, the assistant who received the puzzle at the beginning of the film. They find her in a health center dying from a lung disease. Serena tells the couple to forget Matt and leave the puzzle with her. She also tells them about her billionaire boss Voight, who was killed because of his obsession with the puzzle. Riley persists Serena to tell her more about the puzzle, but she refuses. Instead, she tries to snatch the puzzle off her hand and is cut in the process. Serena accepts her fate and claims that she did this to herself. Later, she sees Cenobites in her room who follow her around the health center, eventually leading her to her doom. Upon reaching home, Riley looks up Voight's name on the internet and finds articles about him being an occult artifact collector. She also sees that he was linked with several mysterious disappearances before his own disappearance 6 years ago. Riley knows that it all relates to the puzzle and wants to go to Voight's last mansion to investigate. Trevor no longer wants to support her, scared of being taken away like Matt and Serena. Hence, Riley goes to the mansion herself. She breaks in and instantly finds the place spooky. It has huge metal gates that look like they were made for protection from something dangerous. But the answers to Riley's questions are solved when she reaches Voight's study room. It consists of several pictures of Pinhead and Cenobites. Riley also gets her hands on a diary that explains that every human taken by the Cenobites is mutilated and skinned differently. She learns that the puzzle has 6 different forms, and depending on which form you solve it into, you are tortured by the afterlife entities. It looks as though Voight was after some sick form of immortality that he was trying to attain through the puzzle. After hours of reading, Riley suddenly hears someone whisper her name. She looks around and finds Matt in the hallways. She runs to hug him but is horrified upon finding out that his back has been skinned. She retreats in shock and is caught by Colin, Trevor, and Nora, who have come to help her. While Nora and Trevor wait outside, Riley explains to Colin what she has learned in the past hours. She claims that if she gets the puzzle to its 6th and final form, she will be granted a wish by the god of hell. She can ask for love, life, knowledge, power, and even resurrection. The last way is how she plans to get Matt back. Colin thinks she has lost her mind, which frustrates Riley. She goes to show him the puzzle only to find out she has dropped it somewhere in the mansion. Outside, Nora is locked in a room because of the house's old mechanical setting. As Trevor tries to get her out, someone else in the same room as her is solving the puzzle. The person uses it to stab Nora and chases her out of the room. A terrified Nora stays on the ground, unaware that since the puzzle hurt her, her doom is near. Colin and Trevor pick her up and run outside while Riley picks up the puzzle and follows them behind. After they leave, we find out the man in the walls is Voight himself. The trio takes Nora outside the mansion, to their van. While trying to drive out of the mansion, a sudden force makes them lose their way. Whilst driving in panic, the puzzle starts moving, which throws them into terror. Unknown to the fact that the Cenobites have started their execution, the trio drives in fear, not knowing what the right path is. Nora, on the other hand, finds herself being taken by the Cenobites, where she ultimately meets her death through Pinhead. Riley sees Pinhead's reflection in the mirror and grasps the situation. Consequently, their van crashes and they come out to find Nora is nowhere to be seen. While on their way back, Riley meets Pinhead, who offers Matt's resurrection for 2 more sacrifices, which she refuses. Momentarily caught in the conversation, Riley gets stabbed and is now marked. Pinhead then tells her it's either her own life or 2 other sacrifices. Somehow, the group finds their way back to the mansion when a Cenobite follows them. Failing to catch up with the other 2, Colin falls down with the fear of what's before him. However, the Cenobite leaves him for the now marked Riley. In the process, the Cenobite injures Trevor, but Riley, refusing to give up any of the other 2 as sacrifice, solves the puzzle and stabs the Cenobite, who then meets his death. Finally, the 3 make it back to the mansion. However, their safety is still not ensured, with many Cenobites making their way toward them. Just then, Riley locks the metal doors upon realizing the framework design surrounding the whole mansion keeps the Cenobites out. Leaving an injured Trevor to rest, Colin and Riley set off alone to find some solution. Now alone and resting, Trevor gets a visitor who is revealed to be Voight. It is further disclosed that Trevor was Voight's lackey and has been working to find people to sacrifice to the box, including Riley. The metal's crackling reveals a contraption attached to Voight that twists and leaves him in pain. He then presses on Trevor's wounds and tells him to speed up the process and offer sacrifices to get his reward, as he has no more patience left. In order to trap a Cenobite, Riley and Colin move Trevor to control the switch. Then, Riley offers herself to Pinhead but is actually using herself as bait to lure in and trap a Cenobite. They become successful in trapping one in, but unfortunately, Riley drops the artifact during the process. While everyone is on different sides of the metal cage, Colin goes to find it but fails as Voight is faster in doing so and stabs Colin instantly. Shocked at the existence of Voight, Riley informs Trevor but he is unvexed by it. Riley then learns about everything that Trevor did for Voight and how he was with her in hopes of sacrificing her. She also learns that Voight was able to get the 6th solved puzzle 6 years ago and was granted a wish by the god of hell. He wanted a new pleasure sensation that got him the contraption attached to his body. This is when she finds out that the truth behind any reward offered by the Cenobites is pain. As the puzzle reconfigures itself like every other time, the portal opens for yet another sacrifice, and on Voight's command, Trevor opens the gates letting the Cenobites in. Riley pleads with Colin to run, which he does but is followed by Cenobites. Taking the opportunity, Voight locks all the gates trapping the Cenobites, demanding Leviathan to set him free from the gift. Just as Leviathan appears in the sky, Voight fails to keep a check on Riley, who then takes the box, unlocks the door, and goes to find Colin. With the tables turned, Voight now gets on his knees and asks Pinhead to just let him die so he doesn't have to suffer anymore. Trapped and almost ready to be mutilated, Colin screams in pain. Riley reaches the scene and offers the Cenobite another sacrifice in place of Colin. Riley goes to Trevor, who was initially sent by Voight to not let Colin escape, and stabs him. The Cenobite instantly releases Colin and captures Trevor, who is mutilated right then and there. Riley is successful in saving Colin from the torture. Meanwhile, Voight is asking Pinhead for anything but the gift. Being true to her grounds, she informs him that no gift could be ungiven. However, she tells him that exchange was possible and furthermore, reveals that they were mistaken about him, that he never desired sensation, and that all he did for pleasure was done for power. Voight makes the decision to quickly trade his gift for power. Pinhead then steps back and allows Leviathan to deliver his final salvation. Without a doubt, the metal device comes off his body, and his wounds heal. However, it does not last long as a heavy chain bursts through the ceiling, pierces him, and carries him away. Everything abruptly calms down, and Riley visits the Cenobites, who offer her a reward for making all the sacrifices. Her brother Matt calls her as they offer to revive him, but she declines because she already knows how everything is twisted from Voight. She tells them that she accepts his death. The Cenobites inform her that by deciding to live with the regret over all the sacrifices she made, she has chosen lamentation as a gift. She drops the item on the ground, where it reconfigures itself as the Cenobites vanish. Colin asks Riley if she made the right choice when they go back to the van, but Riley doesn't respond. Voight awakens in the final scene naked, hairless, and trapped. After being violently changed into a Cenobite, he is given the gift of power that he had been longing for. Help us grow this channel. Subscribe for more videos every day, turn on notifications and leave a like and a comment. Thank you for watching. See you at the next one.